On this episode of Cover 4-7, you can have your revenge on all of these Clemson fans.
Yeah, I'm finally going to get to talk to Landry.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
I made a call to Birmingham, Alabama, the home of the SEC, where the commissioner and stuff is. And I told him, I said, send me with some SEC college football facts. So he sent me this coat with the directions of how this.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Cover 4, and this is going to be a good one.
How about them Gamecocks?
How about them? We might not talk 31 minutes, but that's a big number there.
How many days of the month is in November?
It's only 30 because them boys couldn't take another one.
Oh, hold on. I've got another question. Has Landry answered his phone since Saturday?
Not yet.
He's out a minute.
All right, before we jump into it, let's thank our sponsors. Dillon Internal Medicine, there's a lot of sick Clemson fans out there right now. And they might need a doctor or a nurse practitioner or something.
They got a slew of them up there.
They can handle you.
They
if
woke
it's
up with
tears,
the cough on
if it's headache,
Sniffles,
if it's
heartache,
depression, whatever that you got from watching that game as a Clemson
Landry
fan.
quit being a Clemson fan already.
He changed shirts, everything, threw it away. He said he burned them. Burned all
His
the
other
Clemson
8
stuff.
teams won over the weekend, probably.
Yeah.
Ain't no way he went 8 for 9 or whatever.
So if you're feeling any kind of sickness, go see Dillon Internal Medicine. All right, let's jump into it real quick before we get to the meat of the show.
Yeah.
CCU, we're going to cover them real quick. Beat by James Madison, 47-7. They moved to 9-2 on the year. Kind of expected for this game. CCU still without their quarterback, taking on a better opponent.
How do we do our picks?
Come on, Kyle.
We picked Carolina and Clemson.
And CCU, I'm pretty sure.
We picked
Y'all all picked CCU except me.
I picked James Madison. I went with you.
Okay.
But what about all the other 8 picks that we did?
Yeah, we did a bunch of picks.
Yeah, I don't ever keep track of those.
I think I did pretty good on the picks too.
Well, also
Outside
the
from
other
Clemson,
ones
Carolina.
we didn't have the.
You got that one wrong.
Yeah,
We didn't pick the lines, but
Yeah.
I mean, we've never kept up with those at any point in this season.
Yeah.
So why are we going to start now?
Okay. All right, don't take offense, Kyle.
Just saying. No, y'all complain every week about this, and this. Y'all ungrateful. Jeez.
CCU, despite the loss, they will play in the Sun Belt Championship this coming up weekend against Troy, but we'll talk about that later. Let's get into it.
Okay.
South Carolina
Pulls off the upset.
goes down to Death Valley.
Mm-hmm.
It did not start out good at all. I thought it was going to be another one like it's been in the past 7 years.
Landry was probably smiling the whole time, talking about, look at this, I can't wait.
He actually was. He wasn't bad. He's down bad. He ain't gonna say nothing this week, y'all.
And then
You're gonna defend your man Bobby the way he just dogged out the Gamecocks. You jumping on?
I hate y'all.
he's just going to be quiet the whole time.
I'll say this: the only time I cheered during the game was the pick six at the very beginning.
Yeah,
that's it.
I'm not gonna lie. That the pick six hurt. That was tough. Like it. I thought it was going to be like Steven said, another long game.
Didn't hurt too bad.
Nope, didn't hurt too bad.
Oh, your phone does work. I was just making sure because he didn't answer all day Saturday.
Probably all day Sunday.
The only thing that he's talked to me about was a logo that he needs for the baseball team. He won't talk to me about anything else.
I'll be honest with you. And also, DJ, he is not good. What's happened to him since the Wake Forest game?
Went back.
He had 9 completions.
The DJ of old.
He was 8 for 29 for 99
I don't understand it.
The interception that he threw, too, was so bad. Like, Spencer Rattler threw 2 really bad ones.
What about when we had our drive and then y'all got the ball first?
Y'all tried to do
Spencer tried to throw him a pick six on the first drive, then DJ went out there and tried to throw him one too.
Yeah.
Clemson also tried to go a little beamer ball on that the kickoff we had after the safety. And did a little huddle around.
Oh, yikes!
Then the backup running back for Clemson.
I've never seen the 2 fumbles. I've never seen fumbles like that.
The first one
he just threw it.
When they reviewed it, it got kicked out. But I thought it looked like he just said, "Have it."
But my thing is like, I know that why they went away from the run because Carolina did a great job adjusting.
Yeah.
Like Clemson did have a few breakout runs periodically throughout the second half, but I mean, Will Shipley only had 15 carries.
Yeah.
And they just went away from the run completely almost and tried to depend on DJ, and he's not that guy.
I will say they let him throw it around the yard. If he threw it 30 times, they said, you know what?
Yeah.
You're only 8 for
He got
29,
the
but
ball.
we're going to let you do it.
Yeah, throw
He
it.
got the ball 15 times.
Yep.
And he just got named all ACC in 3 different things:
Yeah.
running back,
All purpose.
returner, and all purpose.
Yeah. And I mean, I apologize for not putting this on there, but he didn't even have that many catches at Shipley. I think he maybe had like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I
Nothing
don't
crazy.
think that they have used him right all year. Even in the games that y'all have blown people out, or the games like Wake Forest and stuff, like y'all just haven't used him right all year.
Clemson also has like 2 new
They
coordinators
must be saving him for the NFL.
without previous experience. Like, you know, for the past
Keep his mileage
decade,
low.
Clemson's been very fortunate to have Brent Venables, that is, you know, amazing. And then you had Jeff Scott, and who's the coach at Virginia now? Tony Elliott.
Yeah, Tony Elliott.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it may just take some time, or they might just not be that good at calling plays.
Let's use Landry's favorite words on him. Has the cheese fell off the crack?
No.
It's still there.
It's still
No,
there.
because they've
But I
already
mean,
won
we
the
won-
ACC
We won
championship.
10 games.
I know, but like
We won 10 games.
Bobby,
And we're playing for ACC championship.
said,
Against
I've said it before. Every year can't be the year you play for national championship.
yeah,
every
but
year.
like even last year, like
I'll take 10-2.
yeah.
I'll take 10-2 and play for ACC championship any year.
But like the
Got
past 2 seasons
it.
for Clemson standards have not been good. Like you rode the coattails of your defense.
Yeah.
Where it's like your offense has not been good the past 2 seasons. It's obviously it's not an overreaction. Like it could just change completely next year. But it's like the past 2 seasons have not been good at all for you.
Is Cade just not what everybody thinks he is?
I don't know.
Because honestly,
I don't know.
Because
I'm not in there. I'm not.
I'm
I'm
not
with the
saying
team.
it's a hypothetical
It's
question. I guess.
all it is speculation at this point. You don't know.
But
I don't know.
But if you look at Dabo in the past, he's never been scared to pull a quarterback and put in the new one.
So
he pulled whoever it was before Deshaun, sticks him
Kelly
in,
Bryant,
and then
with
pulled
Trevor.
Kelly Bryant, put Trevor Lawrence in, and then Cade is supposed to be the guy, but yet y'all
See,
suffered through.
I don't like that comparison because Trevor Lawrence ended up being what Trevor Lawrence is.
Yeah, but y'all keep saying like Cade Klubnik, and it may not have been specifically you. Y'all said he's the next Trevor Lawrence.
I ain't never said that.
And I, like
He
I said,
just said,
that's
not
what I
you.
just said. You maybe not you, but Clemson
I ain't
fans
never
said
said that.
he's the next Trevor Lawrence.
That's hard to be.
Yeah, you may get all these 5-star quarterbacks, but if you can't develop them, like Deshaun and Trevor are like generational.
Sometimes I don't
talents.
know if it's not developing. Some guys just they ain't got it.
And there's a lot of like
What can you do? Some guys just doing.
there's
do
just
not
a
have
lot.
it.
There's a lot of political stuff, not like
Oh, yeah,
politics,
yeah.
but like when it comes to like grading certain players, like you're going to players that commit to Alabama, all these top tier teams are going to get favored when these star rankings come out.
Yeah.
There was a scenario where a kid committed to Carolina about 4 years ago. He was a 4-star. 2 weeks later, he got dropped down to a 3-star. He commits to one of the top programs and gets jumped back up to a 4-star. It's like,
It is what it
there's
is.
a lot to it. But credit to our prior OC, Marcus Satterfield. Did a
Bye.
dang good job.
Bye.
See ya.
this past
Y'all got the
weekend.
best of both
Nah.
worlds.
Yeah,
Y'all got.
it was mutual.
Y'all got a
he
good
did good
offense.
enough to beat Tennessee and Clemson,
Yeah.
and then we let
But
him go on his
honestly,
way.
I think that was going to happen as long as Rule got the job at Nebraska. I think
Yeah.
he was going to follow Rule wherever he went. Because, I mean, he's followed him from Temple to Baylor to the Panthers and then now to Nebraska.
That was a win-win.
But Juice Wells continues to, like, just put up strong performances. He's the second leading receiver yards-wise in the SEC this year behind Jalen Hyde at Tennessee.
And I tell
Rushing
you,
game was pretty non-existent this past
Yeah, we knew that because
I don't-
Clemson has the best defensive line of all
And
time.
I don't
to
think
ever.
Put
to-
on a football
if there's
field.
grass on the football field and
That's
they
right.
put their feet on it, they're
That's
the
right.
best defensive
But
line
like,
ever to do it.
South Carolina
Ever.
took
It
what
doesn't matter.
But South Carolina took what Clemson was giving them. Like, we
Yeah.
knew going in, the weakest part of their defense is their secondary. And
Yeah.
we lit them up. And outside of the 2 interceptions, Rattler pretty much had his way with Clemson secondary.
God, I hate
There was a
I
report.
hate that.
There was a report on the
God.
sideline that the Clemson DBs were fighting each other.
Remember
Like
at the beginning
pushing,
of the year, he was
shoving.
like, I think I'd take y'all's GA over Spencer Rattler.
Right.
And then Rattler goes in there and just says,
Okay,
watch this.
aside from the last 2 football games of the year, he wasn't much better.
Just get it out. Just get it out. Your
Aside
system.
from the last 2 games,
Just
he was
get-
not
just-
much better.
Just get it out your
He's
system.
way
How
better.
about Nate Atkins the past?
That's what
couple
I was about to
years?
say.
Nate Atkins has been an unsung hero, blocking. I didn't realize he was a true tight end. I thought he was just an offensive lineman that we gave a low number to put in
I
there
just
for
thought he
blocking
was there because of his
situations.
daddy.
He turned out to be pretty damn
Yeah,
good.
the catch that's
Randy
changed the
Moss
game.
is going to put that on you. Just got Moss.
Yeah,
He
has
did.
to.
He did on Sunday. He
Yeah.
did this past Sunday.
Did
I
you
mean,
catch
That was a
catch-
great catch.
No.
You didn't catch that? Maybe
No.
Zeb can clip that in
Yeah.
for us.
I'll tell you who
Yeah.
called it, Nate.
Mhm.
He did. He
Yeah.
called that.
He did better once his dad,
Huh?
Randy Moss.
When Nate Atkins just goes over the Clemson guy with like one
One-handed.
hand, right there,
Yeah.
that one.
honestly,
Just put like Landry's face beside it.
Nate
I
That's all
Atkins,
we
put my face beside it.
Stephen, he honestly
have
did
nothing
better
to do
once
with
his dad
that.
took the leave of absence.
Yeah. I tell
'Cause
you
I
what.
don't know if he ever came back or not.
Take that catch, take the football out, Photoshop Landry in.
Yeah.
Like he just catching Landry like a
Put
little
him in
baby.
his back pocket.
I tell you what though.
And this one's good for 32 yards. Is there anything he cannot do on the
Back
football?
pocket.
I tell you what though, all year for South Carolina is going to go unnoticed because of the position. But Kai Kroger and his punts and
Yes.
just the field
That was the
position
game changer.
battle. Yeah, I mean, and he's kept us in games, and
Yeah.
I mean nobody will ever say it, but
He flipped
he's
the field.
won some games.
Oh,
If
yeah.
not
Clip-
this game.
Clemson started at inside their own 5-yard line, I believe, 3 times. Like he flipped the field, and that was big because
he's been
Clemson
doing it all
couldn't
year.
get it going.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
I mean, they started majority of the time, especially in the second half. I'm pretty sure whenever we punted, outside the last punt where Antonio Williams fumbled the ball, that's what you get. But Clemson started with them
That's what
like
you
they're
get.
like
What
Where did that come
their
from?
10-yard line.
He was committed to South Carolina.
He wasn't
through his
committed.
entire
He wasn't committed,
Well,
but I mean,
Look,
he
Clemson
was,
swoop in at the last week, and he's like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
look.
screw South Carolina
Yeah.
and everything that I, you
Yeah.
know."
aside
they've
from
done
the
for me."
fumble,
But I mean-
aside from the fumble, he was the bright spot for Clemson.
that ain't
In that
saying
game?
much.
Dude, he's gonna be good.
he
Yeah,
caught.
I'm
he's
not
gonna be good
like
for
I'm not
real.
going to trash the kid. Like I mean, he did what's best for him, but it's if what all is true is in the ether, Clemson didn't really pay him any attention until like they missed out on potential recruits and commits. Then they offered him, which I mean, he grew up a Clemson fan, so that's where
Yeah,
he
well,
wanted
yeah.
to go. So Clemson only had 7 points in the second half.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you take away
yeah.
the pick six. We also had another interception in the end zone. Off the.
What are we taking it away for?
I don't know where we're going.
I'm
with
just saying, like,
If you take away all of the
but what I'm
Gamecock
saying is, though, it's
touchdowns.
like Clemson, like, even though it was a 1-point game, it didn't feel like a one. Like the
No,
way it
it
was
felt
dominated.
like a blowout.
Yeah, it honestly did. Like, especially the second half.
Actually, it felt like a blowout both ways. Like those first 2 touchdowns y'all scored, it was like,
Yeah.
all right, well, this is gonna be a blowout.
Yeah.
And then there was just a few minutes where we made a little comeback, and then after that, it was just like, all right, well,
Yeah.
South Carolina dominated the rest of that game.
run them down the hill, run them back up.
Yeah, people were getting mad at Beamer's kids, so they were playing on the hill after the game.
Some of the best memes when they got Dabo when he's sprinting down the hill and it said he's running to the college football committee asking for that 12-2 playoff this year.
There was one I saw. It was like him running. I don't know if it was at a home game or not, but he was right in front of the
No, it was,
the
I
L
think it was that
flag.
playoff.
Yeah, that was a playoff game.
It was
What,
playoff.
what did Juju McDowell? What did he tell him when he called the call?
He just wanted to let them know they ain't Clemson won't be there this year. Tennessee either.
Stupid.
Dang.
Stupid.
Just gonna let y'all know they ain't gonna be there this year.
Not gonna be there.
But overall, outside of the Clemson obviously has the AC championship game. Like Landry, like what do you think about like Clemson's? Like I know you said you'll be happy 10-2, but it's like it wasn't a great season for Clemson. Like
No, I mean, yeah, compared to what we've done in the past, comparatively, yeah, but like most other teams, they would love to go 10-2 and be playing for a conference championship at the end of the year.
Yeah,
They
I
would
agree.
love it. Nebraska fans would love to have Bo before this Matt Rule hire. They would love to have Bo Pelini back winning 9-10 games every year.
they're like in a situation like Auburn where like their boosters can't get out of their own way.
Yeah.
We'll talk about those hires
Yeah.
later. But hey,
Yeah.
win's a win. We avoided 8 years.
For as bad as it felt like Clemson played, I'll take a 1-point loss.
Jordan, you were pretty quiet this segment.
I really haven't had a chance to say much between you and Landry. Me and Steven are kind of just sitting here.
Steven's been talking.
I was going to ask Steven,
Within
like, are we supposed to raise our hand? Like, what are we supposed to do up here? Because y'all were, but it's fine. Go Gamecocks. That is my favorite win of the season.
I think he's more upset because Tennessee's pretty much out of the playoffs. Still.
I will say this: out of y'all three, Jordan was the one who didn't talk any crap to me. So thank you.
I watched the game with you.
Afterwards, you texted in the group.
But that
I'm
was
just going to tell you.
I said it
with every single team that I got. You can if your team beats my team. No, I'm just saying this is just me personally. I will let you say whatever, and I'll take it. I won't get mad at you. This is not just for you. I'm just saying people know in that sports group that we're on in Facebook.
But I can tell you
say
why.
whatever. But guess what? I'm gonna say it right back
because you are the most obnoxious sports fan that God has ever put on the face of the earth.
He be talking about. I pull from you, gonna know
like the only team that we pull the same for is the Gamecocks because just simply because of who you pull for, I would never pull for them because you're just that obnoxious.
Steven be posting about the Celtics. Don't nobody care about the Celtics.
I do, so I'm gonna post about them.
If
Grandma can post about the pie that she cooked and be happy about that, I can post about my basketball.
At this rate, I'm surprised you're not a Yankees fan.
No, I can never be a Yankees fan. Can never be a Yankees fan. But fun fact: of the last 15 years between South Carolina and Clemson, I know y'all like records and stuff like that to go way, way, way back. 7-7 is in the last 15 years. Obviously, we had that 1 year that we didn't play.
Carolina would have won that year, though.
I don't know.
We'll be like a W in the column.
As far as we had lost 7 in a row, this was a huge win for that and just being able to beat Clemson. But just program-wise, I mean, that instead of 1 step forward this year, I mean, Beamer probably took 5 steps.
Well, especially looking for an OC. Like, you know, Beamer's even said, even though it's only been 2 seasons, like our program's in a lot better of a state than it was 2 years ago.
He's right.
Where you have more, like, you can go and attract potential head coaches.
Yeah.
Because Beamer's already said, he's already had coach. You don't know who the coaches are, obviously, but people actively trying to get this position.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
That's a hard get.
Yeah.
That's what I told Jordan. That's kind of the best thing
Jordan cannot say he wants him. No, you
cannot
say that. TCU. You cannot say that.
He's only been at TCU 1 year. He's not tainted.
Yeah. If you throw money at people, they'll
he's not tainted.
There's rumors, and we'll get out. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know where you go. If you're going to get Riley, because I mean, Riley, is potentially going to be the OC for TCU in the college football playoff.
Maybe.
What can we offer him that he doesn't already have at TCU?
Continually playing big time football.
Because he's going to be a head coach with.
Because now
you can offer him beating Clemson because that's something he'd never do at TCU.
Because now
that's not true.
They just
that's not true.
I think Clemson's a better football
team.
At
least playing them.
That's not true. I've seen TCU beat Clemson in Death Valley.
But that was how long ago?
When
Andy Dalton, what were you 4?
When Andy Dalton was playing quarterback.
Landry, you were in kindergarten when that.
He was 16 when that game happened.
You just learned how to pee in the potty when that game happened.
He's got his pull up on today.
God, now I forgot. But what you can offer him is playing SEC football. Because you just in their conference, they're about to lose their, what would be their 2 biggest teams. I mean, sure, TCU's now probably the best team in the Big 12.
Yeah. But why not stay at TCU, put up these gaudy offensive numbers? You're going to get a job regardless.
Yeah, he's going to be a head coach.
Look how many games he almost lost this year.
But he didn't lose. That's
not his fault. If the offense is he controls one side of the ball.
I guess he can also look. And obviously we won't know, but he can look at TCU and say, all right, I'm about to lose however many players and have to basically rebuild this offense or, I'm going to have these guys for the next 2 or 3 years or I could jump over to South Carolina where they have players.
Well, hopefully Juice and Spencer and Jaheim come back next year because they all can leave.
I hope not.
I
hope they all leave.
Honestly.
Anybody that's eligible, leave.
If never step foot in the state of South Carolina again.
If I only had to choose one to stay, I would rather Juice Wells stay.
I'd rather Bill stay.
And it's hard to run an offense without a quarterback.
Well, I mean, we've got quarterbacks. I mean, we
I
got
think
those
it would
recruits
benefit all
came
three of
in.
them to stay. They all three need another year.
It would be really big for the program if they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if those three
That's
stay,
just hard.
The
you
thing
can-
It's a
about
hard pitch, though.
the thing about NIL now is if they're like being projected 5th, 6th, 7th round, you can get some boosters to throw that same amount of money that you're going to make in a 5 through
But
7th
I don't
round.
think it's all about money either. It's like like we've talked about this, like draft stock. Like if your grade's going to be this, no matter if you go this year or this year.
I think
like,
all three of them.
here's another
Their draft
thing.
stock can go way up if they come back and have another year.
They come back and get injured. It goes even
I mean, it's
further
all
down.
a risk.
They could get injured at the combine.
And their dream is to
Yeah.
go play in the league.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Like you can't.
that's a hard pitch for any coach.
Yeah, you can't get mad if they do declare though.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a hard
but
pitch.
some
for
people
any
are
coach.
saying Rattler's going to go to Nebraska.
No.
Steven was like,
He
they're already
could.
reporting on it.
There
Hey,
was
no,
a guy from Tennessee reporting.
But that
it,
guy
yeah.
had like 4,000
Spencer Rattler
followers.
would be the least looking.
He's either coming back. He's either coming back to South Carolina or he's going to
He's going pro or he's coming
pro.
back.
Yeah,
Because I'm pretty
but he
sure
could
you can't
transfer
just-
to Nebraska.
But I think he would have to sit out.
He wouldn't.
I don't think you can just transfer.
He
willy-nilly
can because
anymore.
his transfer came after a coach left the program. That's a new rule. If your coach leaves the program, then you can transfer, and it doesn't count against you to where you have to sit if you transfer again.
I don't know. I don't think he goes to Nebraska.
That's one reason why he didn't transfer mid-season.
Yeah.
Is because then that wouldn't have been because a coach left. These rules are all over the place now
Yeah,
with the transfer and NIL.
Let's get into the championship weekend preview, guys.
Before we do, another sponsor, Dillon Community Pharmacy.
Where's the lie?
Once you
Where's the lie?
Once you leave Dillon Internal because of how sick you are from Clemson losing, they'll pick your medicine up from Dillon Community Pharmacy.
That's right.
And if you just got a sour stomach from it, just still feel nauseous, don't really want to go to the doctor, they'll have what you need
They
at
got
Dillon Community
something,
Pharmacy. Well, I mean, we can take you after the show, buddy. I know you look a little.
Stop.
Looks pale.
Yeah, what's wrong?
You all right?
Your team won this week.
Yeah, they did.
And UCLA won. So you got
Egg
that
Bowl
going for you.
champions.
Hey
All right,
everyone,
let's-
I'm back to review my picks from last week and talk a little bit of Gamecock and Tiger football.
Don't cry, Bobby.
Can you
As you know, I had a long
Man's down
weekend
bad. He didn't even wear
with my
Clip stuff
Wildcats
this week.
and my Tigers losing, but I'm still very proud of both of them.
I wouldn't be.
Saturday was a really good game, a 31-30 victory for the Gamecocks. As I said on the show last week, we needed to win field position and the turnover margin.
Can't do that with
Well,
that.
we all know that the South Carolina punter, he had a great game. He pinned us
Snubbed.
deep
Dude,
Yeah, dude.
all game long.
God, that was a joke.
And, well, the turnovers,
He's first in the
interceptions,
SEC and
two-
second in the nation. I
two
believe.
costly fumbles really hurt us.
Guys,
Kind of remind me of
Bobby's
the
talking. Let's listen to him.
2013
Yes, Dad. Sorry.
game when we came in a better team like we did this year, but had 6 turnovers and we just couldn't overcome. But take away from South Carolina's victory, 1 point or 10 points, it's a victory. It's a big victory for y'all. My hat's off to y'all. I have a lot of close friends that are Gamecock fans, and I'm actually really happy for them. And they should be happy because it was a big victory.
Couldn't be me.
I feel like Bobby's about to come with a big old butt.
A 40-game home winning streak, which that hurt me the most. But I see a lot of talk about knocking us out of the playoffs. Y'all didn't knock us out of the playoffs.
Hold now.
It's pretty much a done deal. Y'all just put some icing on the cake to ensure that we didn't get in.
That's what people love to ask.
But I can't dwell on this game
He's coming with something.
because we playing in another championship this weekend in Charlotte. And speaking of championships,
Here it goes.
probably the one thing that irks me the most about the unruly Gamecock fans would be that they brag about the SEC
He
when they
must have
don't
saw Steven's post on
to the SEC.
Facebook.
To their success anyway in football. Y'all have done absolutely nothing for the SEC in college
Amen.
football.
Amen.
Yeah, y'all still coattail and ride on them and brag on them. Speaking of coattails, I made a call to Birmingham, Alabama, the home of the SEC.
My man brought
Where the
props.
commissioner and stuff is. And I told him, I said, send me with some SEC college football facts. So he sent me this coat with the directions of how to explain it. So in the SEC, the teams he holds close to his heart and does the most for him and been the most successful will be these 4 teams.
Florida.
Maybe
Alabama, LSU, Georgia, and Florida.
Maybe.
His right-hand teams that helps out every so often will be these
Definitely
teams.
not A&M.
Tennessee,
Beat both of
Auburn,
them, 2 of them this year.
Texas A&M, and
Ole
Ole
Miss,
Miss.
no. Auburn, not so much in the past decade either.
In his left pocket will be these teams right here. That comes through every so often. Kentucky, Mississippi State, Arkansas, and Missouri. So I called Mark back. Mark's the commissioner. I said, Mark, you forgot 2 teams. I said, hold on just a second. Let me check the back and make sure, because South Carolina might have the SEC's back. So I didn't see him to start with, but lo and behold, down there at the bottom, I found the last 2 teams. Coattails. Riding coattails. And I told Mark, I said, Mark, why do you consider them coattail riders? He said, well, they don't do nothing for the conference. Not in football anyway. But they sure love to brag on us. I said, well, you right, Mark. I said, well, let me ask you this, Mark. I said, most of you Gamecock fans want the Clemson to join the SEC. And I said, what do you think about it? He said, well, we kind of love to have them. They would like to come on over. I said, well, what pocket would you put them in, Mark? And he says, well, since you kind of dominated our main horse, Alabama, in 16 and 18, y'all was a better team in 15, which I agree with him. Should have won that one too. He says, you could about beat any team in these pockets. And you own South Carolina overall.
Oh, good old
He says,
excuse.
I probably
Let's go
will
back to
put
the
you
records.
in this pocket right here. So Gamecock fans, enjoy your win. Be happy about it, and you should be.
Oh, boy.
Happy with that victory. And I think y'all got a bright future with Shane Beamer coming along. He's a smart coach, full of energy, kind of reminds me of Dabo. But I think the sky's the limit for y'all. If y'all can get the right people in there, I'm not going to say that y'all win next year. Got a good chance on winning next year. He wins Bryce.
Man, we already a year ahead.
But I think y'all got a bright future if you can get the right personnel in there and stuff. So I'm not going to cut y'all that bad on that. But y'all, it'll be a long time before you be a program like Clemson. It'll be a long time. With our national championships, 3 out of 6.
In the past.
Close to 50 bowls
In the past.
compared to y'all's 24 bowls. There's a lot of stuff that I could brag on, but I mean, it's
all in
really
the past.
not worth it, really.
They put out some good.
Enjoy your
news
win.
for Clemson.
Have a happy holiday, and I'm out.
I'm glad he went down memory road.
That was good.
I'm glad he went down memory road for Clemson.
Well, first off, I
But-
don't know who Mark is.
It's the commissioner of the SEC.
No, his name's Greg Sankey.
Yeah.
So first off, I feel like there's a silent minority for every fan base that always is usually the loudest. Stephen probably being one of them.
He is the one. He's one of one.
Putting us behind.
One of one, the worst Gamecock fan of all time. I'm calling him. He really is, y'all.
Top tier.
Yeah.
Put him up against any other
Oh.
fan base in the nation.
If you're going to be a fan, you might as well be a fan.
If you had to put him on your
Derek-
list, and you know the list I'm talking about, where's he at?
He's 1B.
Wow.
1B.
That's
1B.
pretty bad.
Who's 1A?
We ain't going to talk about it.
My man just sat there for 6 minutes and talked about everything that ain't nothing to do with the present.
But here's the thing:
I thought he was going to go 31 minutes there.
we're about to get this show rolling. But here's the thing: we didn't have a chance to defend ourselves while he was doing his, and he's not going to have a chance in this video.
No, he's not.
But it was
in the comments, though.
it's typical Clemson fan response. Whenever they get beaten, granted we don't beat them as often as we like, but they always resort back to, We got the overall record.
I mean, what
We
other
got the overall
argument you want
record.
them to have? That is the argument.
We got the 2 national
That
championships.
is the rebuttal.
But the rebuttal for that you didn't win this year.
No,
Yeah.
you're right.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you. We'll talk about,
It would be the same if it was flipped.
We've touched base
I
with
agree.
this.
It
in
would be
show.
the exact same.
It's time to move on.
It would be the exact
and
same.
he clearly he was mad and he's a little upset. I get it.
I like
Clemson-
his SEC jacket.
Clemson.
I like that.
Clemson, didn't play that good. It
That
had
was
a little bit of a
good.
down year.
That was good.
But he clearly got some of those tiers wrong in his pockets.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
for sure.
We're clearly not the top of the SEC, but A&M should have been in the pocket
been with
below
y'all.
the SEC logo.
Should have been with y'all.
Missouri, granted, we don't have that much success against them, but like we are a better football program than them. Yeah, that's what you expect. I mean, it was a rivalry game.
All right, let's get
He's
this
not
show
gonna-
started.
All right,
not
hold on.
gonna-
Let me switch around. Let me get back to my side.
Well, when you say you can
That
get the
was
show
good.
started, we ain't started it yet, or we've technically finished it, or whenever he's putting it in there.
Zed'll cut it up.
What? Oh, yeah. I'll put it in.
Yes.
All right, let's jump into championship
Did
weekend.
the Saints win?
No, we got blanked. We got blanked by the 49ers.
CCU 9-2 taking on Troy 10-2. Troy is 8.5 favorite. This is at 3:30 Saturday.
Didn't they play this year
48.5.
No, they haven't.
No,
I
they
thought they
didn't?
did.
I swear I thought they did.
I checked their schedule. I didn't see it.
I'm going with Troy.
I'm going with Troy as well.
Coastal's quarterback had less than 100 yards passing.
Yeah,
this
Yeah,
past
they
Troy,
lost
Troy,
a lot
Troy.
losing McCall. I'm trying to save the bigger ones for
Talking to
last.
Clemson, you think Chadwell's going to get a job? We can talk about that later.
Michigan 12-0 taking on Purdue. Michigan number 2 in the college football playoffs. I think they win this game, but they definitely have to win this game.
The thing with Michigan, though, is like I'm also going to take Michigan.
I'm taking Purdue.
But I just feel like
Whoa!
this is
Are
like
the points or straight up
Taking Purdue straight up.
to win the football game?
That's right. We're going to really cause some chaos. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to put Alabama back in the playoffs.
Here,
That's wild.
we'll talk about this in the last segment because I've got thoughts on the playoff and how it should work. I don't know, but this could potentially. I don't think it's going to be, but don't be surprised if like Purdue doesn't keep it close and make it close.
Who you taking, Landry?
Can you read it? Do you need help?
Come on, boy.
Go Big Blue.
Yeah, it's
Go Big
Michigan.
Blue.
You waited all
God,
that.
man. Drop my ink pen.
I had to build up suspense.
Michigan.
Right.
They may
for
keep
sure.
it close, so I'll take Purdue in the points.
No, we'll just pick them straight
But
up.
Michigan is going to win the football game.
No, Purdue.
USC taking on Utah. USC 11-1, now in the playoffs, ranked at number 4. This is a close line here, -3.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a hard one.
I think it's at a neutral site because Utah did play USC earlier this season. It was at Utah. It's a pretty tough place to play. I had you my opinion.
Oh, I gotta give it back to you.
I think USC wins this since it's at a neutral field.
I'm taking USC because Jake Bentley transferred to Utah, and I would never pick him.
I'm going to take USC.
What's
as
your
well.
hatred with Jake Bentley?
Him?
You know what I'm taking?
Utah?
Utes.
Taking the Utes?
Utes.
He's trying to get Alabama back in the playoffs.
Utes in the over.
He's trying to get Alabama back in the playoffs. All right, Clemson 10-2 taking on UNC. Clemson no shot at the playoffs here after that abysmal loss that they had last week. They have no shot of getting in.
I'm going to take UNC just for the sheer fact that their strongest offense is their pass game.
Yeah, and they
that's
have a
Clemson's
great quarterback.
worst.
I'm taking UNC.
Yeah, I'm taking UNC as well.
I'm taking Clemson.
Good. I hope you're wrong too.
Fun fact: in the year 2022, South Carolina's beat both of these teams already. So just
Technically,
give us
no,
the trophy.
We
I hate
Just give
that.
us the
I hate
trophy.
that.
We
Shut
played,
up.
We technically
Shut
played
up.
North Carolina in 2021. Right?
Just give us the
Shut up.
trophy.
Shut up.
No, it's
That's
2022.
stupid.
Was it?
Yeah.
What?
Stupid. It was last season.
I know
They
it was
played in
last
the Mayo
season,
Bowl.
but for some reason I
But it
thought
was
we played them in the calendar
Yeah,
year.
but it was in
2021.
2022.
That was when. That was
They
when.
dunked that Mayo.
But he said when
He about got a concussion from that.
when he said you could hit him in the head with a frying pan. He didn't care.
Yeah, I'm thinking North Carolina.
Guess who we used in that game? The Carry-On Joiner.
South Carolina's a better football team when Five's on the field.
I do agree.
Well, I think
do agree.
he's gone.
Using him the way we use him.
I don't care if you use him to tote water. He's a better football. They're a better football team when you put him on the field.
Yeah, I agree, but he's not as a lone quarterback.
Put him out there and let him kick. I mean, who cares? DJ.
I don't know.
DJ probably had the best punt of the football
They said
game.
He did.
They said that was his best pass the whole game was the punt. Landry's big mad over there.
Georgia,
I hate these
12-0, taking on LSU 9-3.
UJ wins this season.
Georgia.
Yeah.
LSU got beat by A&M, and
Dogs.
not like
I'm taking the dog.
easy.
Yeah,
Dogs.
Georgia, big.
Dogs.
Georgia is the only team in the top 4 that doesn't have a tough game in their conference championship game.
But they've won them all.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm saying TCU's got a tough one. USC's got a tough one.
I don't know.
Michigan has
TCU,
got a.
Kansas State's gonna be a
I
great
wouldn't say
game.
Purdue's a tough one.
It has the potential to be, but I think the best overall game is going to be TCU, Kansas State.
Kansas State by 3 touchdowns.
We know you.
TCU 12-0,
Steven or Jordan hates TCU.
taking on Kansas State 9-3. TCU's minus 2.5 favorite.
It's a low
I'm taking
line.
Kansas State.
Take TCU.
The best thing the Gamecocks can hope for is that TCU loses this game and Riley just says, all right, I'm not going to do it here.
Kansas State by 3 touchdowns.
God, I don't know about all
We're
that.
gonna put that on there, Jordan.
I'm going Horned Frogs.
K-State
Frog dogs.
Frogs.
Horned Frogs.
by 21
Frogs.
points.
Frogs. F-R-A-U-G-S. Frogs.
You
Frogs.
count the PATs or just the
FRAWGS.
touchdowns?
Huh?
You counting PATs total 21 points?
Kyle, you can write 27 down if you want to.
Dang.
27.
What you gonna eat your crow next week when TCU wins this game?
Yeah, I know.
I don't understand your hatred for TCU.
Yeah, I don't get it.
He's just mad because
35.
they're keeping his Tennessee Volunteers.
Just keep talking. We can even get to 100 in a minute.
I'm gonna get him on K State just like Landry did with Steven in Vanderbilt Carolina game.
42.
He's getting close.
I bet you won't do it. I bet you
35 is a good number.
you ain't got the guts to go 42.
He already knows 35 was a bad number.
Yeah. All right, so big weekend, championship weekend, a lot on the line for a lot of these teams.
Could be some Heisman moments.
Heisman moments, playoffs are on the line.
I hope there's some heartbreaks.
Yeah, I want
Yeah.
chaos.
Yeah, Tennessee's going to officially be
The
out of
Gamecocks
playoffs.
ain't playing this weekend to cause chaos. Somebody's got to do
All the
it.
underdogs to win.
All the dogs. It's a
LSU.
dog weekend.
Oh, you want Georgia to win?
No, the underdogs. Let's
Okay.
take all the dogs.
LSU, UNC, Utah, K-State, Purdue, and CCU.
I ain't picking Utah. Won't do it.
Won't do it.
Won't do it.
Won't do it.
Won't pick Utah and won't pick TCU. Won't do it.
Well,
So you would take Clemson over Utah?
Absolutely. I'd take Clemson over TCU too.
all right. Well, speaking of the playoffs, we're going to talk about this on our segment exclusively on the app. So join us on the app. We'll be back next week to recap these championship games and talk a little bit about the playoffs. I think
Army,
that should
Navy.
be set.
Army Navy next week too.
Is that next week?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the Heisman Trophy
Didn't,
ceremony.
Go
The
on.
playoffs will be set.
No, sir.
You'll know
Navy.
the playoffs on Sunday.
The
Not
playoffs
this-
will
not
be
this
set.
year.
Yeah.
All right, so the playoffs will be set by the time that we talk about that.
Should be a lot of bowl games too.
If all the bowl games, we will run down every bowl game and make our pick for every
Yep.
bowl game.
That might need to be a
That's going to be
different show.
fun. That's
Yeah,
going to
that
be fun.
might-
I
We're
like
just
that.
going to start from the top. I'm going to say welcome, and then we just going to start picking.
But go ahead and write down whoever Utah and TCU play in the bowl. You can go ahead and write me down for the opposite team. It don't matter.
All right, join us on the app, and we'll talk a little bit about national stuff. All right, you want to talk about playoffs or coaches?
Hold up. Let me answer this real quick. Keep
Oh,
going.
he does know how to answer the phone.
Keep going.
That's
Text
crazy.
message.
Well, if he's going to answer that, I'm going to get my email.
My wife is texting me, y'all.
Matt
I
Rule.
gotta answer.
Hired as the Nebraska head coach, and the Panthers
Satterfield
fans
with
love
him.
that.
Well, he's been gone from them.
I know, but that
Not
takes
us.
off money that they have to pay him.
He's been on his little media circuit talking
My
about
fault.
basically not trashing, but it's basically like Tepper is a big problem. Like he was like he wanted it to be like a 7-year process, and they're like that's the thing with
Who the crap comes in and says,
But
I
that-
want a
but-
7-year process
but that's
before we're
but
good?
that's the thing with the college in
All right,
NFL.
who said that?
Matt Rule.
Oh, yeah. Of
But,
course he
like-
wants
I know
7
that.
years.
Yeah, because
He
what
got
did he
hired
say?
for 8.
No, but what did he say? It took Jay-Z 7 years before he had his first #1 album or something like that. He's comparing himself to Jay-Z.
Yo,
Surprise hire Luke Fickell going to Wisconsin. I didn't see that one coming.
I didn't either.
Because
But
I don't
I think it
anybody
fits.
did.
I think it
agree.
fits. I think it's a great
Because
fit.
he's a Big Ten guy.
Hey, I saw. I don't think this on our. Oh, never mind. We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Remind me what Hugh Freeze did.
There's a couple different things.
Yeah, he's a shady guy. He's the biggest scumbag in college football.
So check this.
For
I
real.
think it had something to do with somebody
For
at
real.
Liberty.
I want to find
somebody
this
was
text
accused
message.
of I don't know if it was sexual assault or sexual harassment, but the girl I think that accused the person, he DM'd her on Twitter asking about what happened. But the thing with Auburn though is it's like they preach this high morality character. Like they drummed up a rumor about Brian Harsin having an affair
that's
last
wild.
season, and then they bring in Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
It's just they're hypocrites.
Yeah.
Like that's very hypocritical.
Yeah.
Where's this text message that Landry sent us about his thoughts on Hugh Freeze? What did you say?
I don't remember.
He's the biggest scumbag there is that hides behind the veil of Christianity or
Oh, yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
I said something along
Wow.
those lines. Yeah.
He did, and he
is.
goes to a Christian university to kind of like clean his name.
And he
Which-
coached the game. And you remember when he coached the game from the hospital bed?
What?
You ain't never seen that
No,
video?
he was in
the
the press
booth.
box.
He was in
but
the
a
press
hospital
box
bed.
in a hospital
And he
bed.
waved.
And he waved.
Out the window.
He was like up there with a thumbs up.
There's a guy that
That's a winner.
He's a
Yeah,
verified
I'ma
account
find
on
it.
Twitter.
That's a winner.
I'm gonna find you
And
that.
I think
picture.
his name is Chris Herring, but he hasn't made a tweet in like 2 years.
Oh yeah.
But he posted like this one almost 2-minute video about like he said Lane Kiffin has no integrity. He would have not fit in at the Auburn program. Then he started talking about Cadillac Williams, how he'd have loved for him to get the job.
Look. Sorry.
Man.
He's in the hospital.
Then he started talking
There you
about Hugh Freeze and
He's in
how
the hospital bed.
him and his wife are friends with the couple who happens to be Hugh Freeze's daughter, and said he feels like he's known Hugh Freeze for 16 months, and he's a man of high integrity. He's never met the man.
He
Never
may
met
be
him.
now. I can't
Said
judge
he's
him
a
for
fine-
what he is in his present. He
That's
had
right.
a
No.
terrible past, but maybe he's changed. I hope that he loses every game that he coaches.
All right.
But Auburn, again, just like Nebraska, their boosters can't get out of their own way. They got their hand in the cookie jar, and if the second he starts losing,
Gone.
he's gone.
I
And
tell
he's
you, who
gonna get
needs that
paid.
mentality? Texas A&M.
And he's gonna get paid.
And
I saw something about A&M potentially hiring Garrett Riley.
Wait. We're talking about Hugh Freeze. They also put in a clause, I think, in his contract that he has to relinquish all control over his social media.
They hired a PR firm that
Smart.
may have already been hired,
smart.
but they brought in a PR firm to handle the backlash for hiring him.
Yeah.
Well, it just,
At the end of the day, if he comes in next year and he goes 11-1 and beats Alabama
Hey.
and he's in the playoffs or the SEC championship
Hey.
game, nobody will talk
All he's
about
got
it.
to do is win.
Win and cures all.
Win, and he's forgiven.
Now let
Winning
me
cures
ask y'all
all.
this, so because there's rumors that A&M might try to target Garrett Riley.
Yeah, why wouldn't
What if you're an up and coming offensive coordinator, and why would you go to a team where the head coach calls the plays?
With his glasses.
Well, if he's willing to
tip
relinquish
of
the
his
rights.
nose.
But deep down, he's not going to. Like he's going to have his hands involved in
I
that.
don't know what
offense.
I don't
Jimbo's
know. I
glasses
think-
ever did to you, but you hate them.
I'm telling you, when you got a man
It's
that puts
'cause
his
my-
glasses on the tip of his nose, he's calling plays from 1945.
You know what it is?
Andy Reid don't do that.
he's calling weak.
Andy Reid's calling it from a Waffle House, me and you.
He's
Don't
better
hate on
running a
Waffle
wing
House.
tee.
It's because Muschamp did. He hates Muschamp.
Yeah.
It's just deep down. It's
But he
just,
loves Jake Bentley.
I
No.
love Jake. I like Jake Bentley.
I supported him for a while and then I relinquished my support of
No,
him.
you didn't.
I don't know.
Big news.
If I was just an offense coordinator, I don't think I'd go to a program like that where it's like the head coach has final say on the offense.
No, if he
You're
wants to climb the ladder, he needs to. If he's going to make a move from TCU, he needs to go somewhere where he gets to call the
Or
plays.
just stay.
Or
Or
go
just,
to
that's what I'm saying.
Or
if
take
he,
a
if he
small,
decides to
Do
leave,
not go and coach the Gamecocks.
Don't make
oh,
a
he's being scared,
But
man.
no,
Do
I
not
feel
go
like
and coach the Gamecocks.
if you're an offensive coordinator at a major university, it's rare when they make a lateral move. You either take a head coaching job at a small school, like Lane Kiffin did when he left Alabama and took the FAU job. He could do something like that. or you just stay there and then you get the big job.
I
What
think
if-
he took that because that's the only people that were knocking?
This would never happen. But what if Jamie Chadwell said, okay, I'm going to go take an OC job because who's going to hire him at a SEC school right now? Or a big program. Or a big program.
I mean, Missouri hired Eli Drinkowitz from App State. They're in the same conference.
Yeah, but App State's been doing it for
But it doesn't matter like that.
years.
Like
He's shown
that's not
proven.
gonna like prevent somebody from looking at them.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even necessarily have to be a big school. It could be, like I don't even think Conference USA exists anymore. But like a program like that, like a Memphis
It'll have
or
to be.
something.
It'll have to be. I mean, his name's already cooled off in 1 year.
But his offense is still done good.
Yeah, his offense
Mm-hmm.
is cool to watch.
Oh yeah, I mean, but
That's
it's-
Stevens'
I mean,
guy.
he's cooled off.
Yeah,
He's
he
not
has.
my guy. I couldn't stand him when I was there.
Marcus Satterfield is now gone from South Carolina.
Thank God.
I think it was best.
Thank
Like
God.
it prevented it from getting ugly. Not ugly, but it's like I was torn. It's like
That was the
you
best for everybody.
you can't ignore what's happened over the past 2 seasons for 3 good games.
Yeah.
That was best for everybody. For him,
Yeah.
he can go coach with his best friend,
Mm-hmm.
and South Carolina got the best 2 games that he's ever called in his life out of him at the end of the year, so he can kind of go out on the high.
Who's going to call plays in the bowl?
My favorite thing
I read
was
Freddie Kitch.
No,
my favorite thing was
I-
there were Gamecock fans literally saying there's no way that he called those plays. It was Freddie Kitchens, and they showed a picture of him on the sidelines, and he wasn't even wearing the headset.
Yeah.
I read an article. I think it was either through the state or like Gamecock Central, and they listed off like potential people. It was Justin Stepp, who's the
Okay,
receivers
what
coach.
receiver?
Yeah, probably receiver or
Freddie
quarterback.
Kitchens, but there's an analyst, but they said he's basically followed Satterfield. He was brought in to basically be the quarterback's coach, and he's got tons of experience calling plays. He's been a coordinator.
He might
I think
become.
he was the offensive coordinator when Satterfield was at Tennessee Tech. So he could honestly, I think it should just be a committee. Where it's like, because, Justin Stepp is an up-and-coming assistant coach in the country, so it's like you can't just give him play-calling duties to appease him, but, like, maybe, if whoever we hire is the OC, like, he can be the passing game coordinator or something like that.
Don't put it past Beamer to let Stepp call the plays, and if he calls a good game, depending on who we play in the bowl game,
He'll promote him.
promote him
I don't
as offensive
I
coordinator.
wouldn't handcuff. I would not handcuff him
Yeah.
just for one game.
Last time we did that was with Brian
Wouldn't do it.
McClendon.
Wouldn't
And
do it
look how
when
worked
you're riding
out for
when you're
us.
riding high up. You're beating Tennessee and Clemson.
Who?
But who you gonna?
Shut
Hold
up.
on, hold on.
Shut
I
up.
missed what he said.
Shut up.
Beat Tennessee and who?
I'll slap you.
He's
Saying it all year and he ain't done it
Tennessee and
yet.
who?
I'll slap you.
That's right. That's what I thought.
but
I wouldn't handcuff myself to one guy.
Yeah.
So committee.
As much as it pains me to say it, the Gamecocks is a decently desirable place to go call plays at.
And Beamer, like he said, that he was like, we're not in a rush to hire an offense, but he said he wants somebody with play calling experience.
Yeah.
He's like, doesn't matter what level you've done it at, but that's like one of his
I get not being in a rush, but you got to kind of be getting to it because these recruits.
Well, guess what?
And
If
the
you don't
transfer portal opens up next week. They're going
My
to want to
thing
know
is, if you don't hire him right away, he's still there.
who.
Is he not still there?
Who?
Or is it the guy?
Satterfield's gone.
No. The guy you're
Step?
talking about, Step.
Step.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's
Yeah,
listed.
like I'm saying, he's
there.
still there, so
Yeah.
you can still go through it, and then at the end of the day, you can be like, "Oh, well, we still want you."
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm saying for just recruiting purposes.
I wouldn't limit my options. Well, if he's still there, he's going to still be there.
I'm not talking about Step. I'm talking about our OC.
okay.
Because he said, Beamer's not going to be in a rush to hire, but he kind of needs to be aggressive.
I don't think it's going to affect recruiting because our quarterback recruit or commit for next year has already come out and said it's not affecting him.
Maybe not the high school kids, but these transfer guys, when that portal opens up next week, they're going to be ready to go and move because technically
on our team.
No, just anybody. I mean, South Carolina was listed as the #1 transfer portal location that came out today. I can't remember who listed it, but they were listed as #1 for other kids, from other programs to transfer.
I really think the only position you have to worry about as far as transfer portal with OC is the quarterback.
Do you remember that center from Virginia that transferred? When we talked about him, we both wanted him. Where did he end up?
I don't even remember.
You know who I'm talking about? Now?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what we need is some experienced linemen.
We've got. I'm thinking we're going to hire a new line coach.
We've got that.
I don't
Yeah,
think
that
Atkins
has
is
to
even
be.
come back.
That has to be.
Hmm.
I know who we should hire as offensive coordinator, Deion Sanders.
Deion Sanders. That would be cool.
Some people mention Jeff Scott for Carolina.
he's
Stay
been
away from Jessica.
off
He
for the
won't
Colorado
come
job.
after what happened with his daddy.
Stay away from
That
Jessica.
was a long time ago. Money talks.
Yeah, money does talk.
Money talks.
Stay away from
Deion
Jessica.
Sanders won't go to Colorado.
I thought
He's
Deion was
an
going to
idiot.
go to
I thought he was going to go to Georgia Tech too.
But he's not like nobody's going to give him the keys to the main. And again, I know it's Georgia Tech, but nobody's just going to give him the keys to the kingdom with only 2 years of head coaching experience.
How many games Georgia Tech won this year?
I'm just saying.
They hired. I think they hired what in-house.
Yeah, they hired the interim.
If I was Georgia Tech,
Oof.
I would give the keys to the kingdom to Deion Sanders before I gave it to Jamie Chadwell.
They
I don't care
apparently
how
they're-
much head coaching experience you got. Deion's got football experience. Deion's got
He's gonna get dudes in there.
yeah.
He is.
He's going to get the
guys in
players.
there.
He's going to get the
sit in the living
coaches.
room, and they're going to want to play for him.
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
G's
but
and the
you still have to
Joes.
be able to make them better. At
Deion Sanders
State,
can make any player in the
Jackson
nation
State,
better.
He doesn't
I
have
think he
to.
can. I think he can because he'll get the coordinators in there with him.
That's the
You
other.
know
Yeah,
where he should go? Is South Florida.
Yeah.
I would
They're-
not.
how
I would
far
not
away are
step
they from
foot
Miami?
In Colorado.
no, heck no. I would
Oh,
not.
God,
I would
no,
stay
that's
right there
terrible.
where I'm at before I went to
But
Colorado.
there was rumors that Georgia Tech had initially hired Tulane's head coach.
Oh yeah.
And then there were like rumblings along like fan sites where like they were trying to stage like a protest because they didn't approve of the hire. Like you're like
They
you're
pulled
Georgia
Tennessee.
Tech. Like
They
you-
pulled
like,
Tennessee.
Who did you think you were going to hire?
Who was the
Meyer?
coach?
Greg Schiano.
Greg Schiano. Yeah.
And they hired Jeremy Pruitt.
Jeremy Pruitt.
And he's the biggest scumbag of all.
Jeremy Pruitt?
I wonder what they were saying about Hugh Freeze on fan sites.
I don't mean to talk bad about
Like,
Tennessee in
Only
front
fan
of you.
sites.
What'd you just say?
You said that they were talking about coaches on fan site. I said, I bet Hugh Freeze is being talked about on OnlyFans sites.
Maybe. Good night.
Let's talk about the playoff rankings.
Wait. I had a
got one more?
I had a thing about Deion.
Go ahead.
I was watching a video today, and a reporter asked him.
I saw that.
He said, "My favorite team is the Kansas City Chiefs, and they play the Broncos this weekend. You think can I go to the game with you?" And he said,
I'm going to come to Colorado with you.
yeah. He started busting.
And that was a
laughing.
Jackson State employee.
Yeah, he's like, "Can I get a ride with you?"
Deion's not going to be there
What?
much longer.
Apparently, he's calling like a meeting on Sunday, and they said it's down to Cincinnati,
Oh, that would be
U.S.
good.
and South
That'd be-
Florida.
that'd be
or Colorado.
Cincinnati would be really
Like I
good.
think, like granted, like Cincinnati's a good football program, but it's like I think he
USF.
would do good there.
He
USF.
could take
And
one
if he does good
Cincinnati.
at Cincinnati,
The best one he can do it. The one
terms of
he'll do it the
recruiting.
best at is beat USF.
Yeah.
He'll get those guys in Florida.
Those Florida boys.
He'll get 'em.
and Georgia,
He'll get 'em.
that would really shake
Hey,
up
for
the
real.
state of recruiting for Florida.
Wouldn't it be wild?
Florida
Wouldn't it be
State.
wild? USF just come out of nowhere and be the best team. In
But
Florida.
also, it has to come down to the NIL money too.
He can
Yeah.
find it.
Yeah,
Like
Deion's
that running
finding
back they
money.
got, that was the number one recruit in the country last year. He got like $1 million NIL deal when he got there.
And he'll
So
get it wherever
it's
he
like-
follows Deion.
he was
too.
a cornerback.
No, he's a
He was a running back.
The number
Travis
one?
Hunter.
Yeah, he was a running back.
Because like he was originally committed like Florida State or something.
No,
Yeah.
well, they got him playing receiver and DB. Who am I
I
thinking
think he
of?
can play.
He was
for
a running
somebody.
back. He was committed.
I was
Florida
thinking he
State.
was a cornerback.
I thought he
too.
was a cornerback too.
But he was a running back. He probably can play DB.
I just saw like a highlight tape, and he was like,
He probably played
He was
both.
playing receiver and DB.
Yeah.
He probably played both.
Yeah.
All right,
Maybe
playoff
an athlete.
rankings.
Maybe not.
Playoff ranking: UGA correct, Michigan correct, TCU absolutely wrong, USC correct, Ohio State correct, Alabama correct.
Alabama is not correct.
No, Alabama's.
Alabama's
Tennessee should
not
be in
correct.
front of Alabama.
South Carolina should be number 7.
Tennessee should be
There's
in front of
two
Alabama.
teams in the top 10 in the last 2 weeks that got throttled by that South Carolina
Now
team.
let me ask you a question: where does this make sense? You're looking at all these other teams that got beat this weekend, and they're dropping 7 positions, 6 positions.
LSU.
Clemson drops 1 position.
LSU dropped 9 spots.
I know, but Clemson drops 1.
Tennessee went back up a spot, didn't they?
What's it to you?
I've got a question. I've got a question for y'all. Do you think, because you look at it, you've got
tickled.
Ohio
Hold on,
State
Kyle.
at 5, Alabama at 6. Okay, let's just say TCU and USC loses. I don't think Ohio State and Alabama deserve to potentially jump in back to the top
No, I
4.
don't think so.
I don't think teams should be punished for playing an extra game while
Oh,
teams
no.
that are sitting on the outside looking in
No.
are just sitting at home. Like I think this should be the rankings regardless. Now, if like TCU loses and USC wins, you flip flop them. But I don't think 5, 6, or 7 should have any opportunity to jump in the top 4.
The only reason I disagree with that is because if you're going to reward a team for winning a game, that extra game at the end of the year, let's say you got somebody at 5. Let's just say Tennessee was playing Georgia. I mean, I know they're in the same, but let's just say, for instance, and Tennessee's 5 or 6, and they beat number 1 Georgia, and you reward Tennessee for playing that extra game to get in. You got to be able to punish them for losing that game.
But they're also not. They're not playing in these championship games.
But I'm saying
you
TCU
can't reward
is
a team for not playing.
Well,
now it's one thing,
I mean,
like if they're playing in the championship game and they win. But if they're just sitting at home not doing anything, I don't think they deserve to be in the top 4.
What's that saying?
We don't know, Lance.
I don't know what to say. If some bullets
lot
were
of
candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know. And they say it's going to fix itself when it goes to 12 teams, but then you're just going to have the same people arguing over, 13 and 14 and 15 are
What's
better
wild
than
is
12.
Florida State's 13. Who would have thought that? Who would have
But
thought
that's
that?
what
none of these rankings make sense, dude.
Who
You know
would've
what
thought
really pisses me off is that Florida was unranked at the beginning of the year, wins 1 football game,
Yeah.
and they throw them all the way to 12.
Yeah.
South Carolina beats 2 top 10 teams that are still in the top 10,
Yeah.
and they say, best
We're
we can give you is 19.
Which 19 is a
Very,
very,
very good,
yeah.
but but based on how they've done these rankings,
Don't
No,
cry about
no,
it.
because
Don't
you
cry
gotta
about
look
it.
at it.
Don't
put
cry
us in the
about it.
playoffs.
When
I
you
think
go
they
down to Florida and you don't even score an offensive touchdown, and the next week that same team gets beat by Vanderbilt, I
I
understand.
also think the committee just makes, they just do a blank slate each week and they don't make up their mind.
Yeah.
They just do
They
something
grab a
different
handful
each
of
week.
darts and just it's down there somewhere.
Because like I
DJ.
said, I'm like you.
Like DJ.
Down
How
there
does
somewhere.
LSU? Granted, they lost to A&M. They're bad this year, but how does LSU drop 9 spots? And at the time, Carolina was not ranked. Beat Clemson, and Clemson drops
That's what I'm saying. None of it makes sense.
1 spot.
Well, the committee's got their historically pet schools.
Yeah.
It don't
Notre
look like
Dame,
it.
Ohio State, those schools.
Where's Notre Dame ranked? They got to be, 15 or
They
16?
back there.
Yeah, they're up because they lost to USC, and I think they're 14, 15. They're
USC 's
ranked
a
ahead of
fraud.
South Carolina. I think they're 16 range. Sorry, I didn't put all 25 guys. I tried to keep it to one
Man.
sheet this week, and it would
Man
have
ran out
been
of
3
printer
teams
ink.
on page. So I was like,
Trying to
that's
save it.
stupid.
Keep it to one sheet and it's still 45 minutes. Let's go, boys.
What they should do is reward South Carolina this week when LSU gets throttled by Georgia and put us in the top 15.
What? Y'all ain't moving on.
We're not going to jump.
We're finishing
5
within the
spots.
top 15 this year.
I hope y'all get bumped back.
There's
Somehow.
rumors we'll talk about this in the bowl show, but there's rumors we might be paired against
Florida
FSU
State, yeah.
in
If we
one of the
beat-
Florida bowls.
If we beat Florida State in a bowl game,
Oh,
they better rank us top 10 to
I
finish
want
the
y'all
year.
both to lose.
Last time we played Florida State in a bowl game, we lost.
I won't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marshawn-
Marshawn Lattimore got
That's,
his teeth knocked
that's the
down.
year we
Well,
lost to
sticking his
Auburn.
teeth out.
That's when
That was
Cam,
Stephen Garcia's fault.
that was Cam Newton at Auburn when we
Got
got
him
smoked in the
killed.
SEC championship.
Yeah, that was Stephen Garcia's
Yeah,
fault.
that
I
was.
forgot about that.
That man left him out to dry.
But I
Go
think
to the
that
dentist.
also, I know this is a different sport, but it's still under the football. USA plays Netherlands Saturday, 10 a.m.
God, we still talking about the playoffs.
Yeah.
What are we talking about with it now?
All right, so TCU's losing.
Absolutely.
Who takes their spot?
Nobody.
If
You think if TCU loses,
if
I don't think they'll
if
keep them in there,
TCU
but I
loses,
think
if
they should.
TCU loses and USC wins, they should this probably won't happen. They should flip flop them. TCU should jump to 4. USC should go to 3. I don't understand how, especially Ohio State being at 5. Ohio State has no. If you're going to give a one you're going to jump somebody, I would rather it be Alabama or Tennessee. Ohio State has not beat one good team this year, and their biggest game of the year was this past weekend, and they got ran out their own building by Michigan.
well, look, who's TCU beat that you can say, man, that was just
But they're
a
undefeated,
stunning win.
though.
They
You
haven't
can't keep
lost.
using that excuse. I'm
No.
sorry.
I've been the
They
one
beat
who
Can- they
I've
beat
been on
Kansas
that
State.
side all year. I've been the one arguing with Jordan about they beat ranked team
But
after
who
ranked
has
team after
Ohio
ranked team.
State beat?
They've only lost to one team, and it's the number 2 team in the nation.
Yeah, but if you took out the
Alabama has
championship
lost to
games-
teams that are behind them.
Here's how it's going to
So
go.
how did they get to jump a team that's only lost is to a team in front of them?
I'll ride if that team is at number 4.
I'm telling you, this is what's going to happen. Michigan's going to lose. TCU's going to lose. It's going to go Georgia, Southern Cal, Michigan, Alabama.
You say
That's so stupid.
But
That is
how
so
it's gonna do it.
stupid.
That's why they put Alabama
That
at number
sucks
6.
so bad.
but
They do not deserve it.
But tell
They
me,
do not.
do you think I'm wrong if that happens?
Do you have
No,
Michigan?
I think
Exactly.
it's flawed.
Yeah.
It is.
That's right, because you got Purdue winning.
It is.
It's
It is.
stupid.
I'm telling you, that's what. If
think they
Michigan
jump Ohio
loses and
State?
TCU loses,
If they
Alabama's
get
going
in,
to the playoffs.
if they get in, that just shows how biased they are towards Alabama.
They should get rid of the college football playoff
it
committee
confirms
if
it
that
completely.
team
I was
is
about
at
to say,
number 4.
Holy
even
confirms
if within their heart,
There's no way
Yeah.
they're going to jump Ohio State.
even if it's in their heart that they want Alabama in there no matter what, they have
What's-
got to
they-
keep
they
them
will-
out.
What's
They will
Alabama
sure
got
fact
on this college football playoff committee? What
something
they got on
dirty
it?
pictures.
Hey,
Something.
they're the only team that's ever made it in with 2 losses. They've
Yeah,
been in this,
but they won their
they've been in
SEC
this spot
championship
before.
the
game.
SEC championship
Yeah.
game.
They were in the SEC championship game. For
That's
that one.
different.
I'm fine if somebody jumps up if they win a conference championship game and they lose. But if you're just sitting at home eating popcorn, there's no reason Alabama should jump Ohio State.
Knowing what we know about the committee and its history, do not be surprised if you see Alabama going at 4.
Well, you know what? TCU's going to win on Saturday.
I was about to
so
say,
it don't
more than likely what's
I'm
going to happen
telling
is
you,
all 4 of those teams
The
are
only
just
way
gonna win
TCU
and make it
loses and
easy.
drops out is if they just get their brains
throttled.
kicked in.
Yeah.
35.
All right.
If they lose by 35 points, they will not be
All
in
right.
the
Let's
playoff.
end this bad boy.
Landry's mad.
Let's end it. I'm ready to go home.
So coming up next week, it's going to be Georgia, Michigan, TCU, USC, South Carolina, Ohio State, Alabama,
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Clemson's going to 25 because they're losing to North Carolina.
26.
All right, come on. Let's end this.
What
All
you
right,
in a hurry
Let's get
for?
this over with.
He said
Landry's
his wife's
big
got
man.
dinner ready.
Let's go. No, I did not. Let's go.
Hey, make sure you answer when I call you this
I
week.
ain't doing it.
We'll see you next week.
Yep.